Hello, my gorgeous Taurians. It's the Healing Grasshopper here to do your first week in July reading, the 1st to the 8th. Let's see what Spirit has to tell you for this week. Queen of Pentacles. I'm glad to see it. I feel like you get Queen of Pentacles a lot, Taurus. It's a very Taurian card. Queen of Wands, good. I'm glad to see it. I do remember last month, Taurus, you guys had a lot of I'm working towards my abundance, but fear, you know, I'm trying this new endeavor, but fear. You had like these great cards, and then you'd have like the nightmare card or uh, like the Nine of Swords or the Eight of Swords, the Two of Swords, that kind of thing. In between the good cards, who knows? It may still turn up, but I'm I'm saying that because I'm really happy to see the Queen of Wands show up after the Queen of Pentacles. Because the Queen of Pentacles energy is about abundance and stability. And you know that saying, abundance flows to me easily. That's Queen of Pentacles, right? So that's, like uh manifestation mindset type thing. And then Queen of Wands elevates this energy with optimism and confidence, enthusiasm, sunny personality, which is important. That is the fuel for this energy. So, Three of Cups. So happy. Okay. Okay. I really don't mind seeing Ten of Wands here. Ten of Wands is like, yay, I'm optimistic, I'm going places, but it's a lot of work. Yeah. The universe never promised us a rose garden. And this, by the way, coming from a Capricorn sun, you never get sympathy from a Capricorn when you're like, oh, it's really hard. Capricorn's like, oh, yeah? We're children of Saturn and everything is difficult for us all the time. When nothing comes to us on a silver platter. So, we're always going to tell you, like, yeah, you're going to have to work at it. It's life. Anyway, um, but Capricorns also know that with that work comes enormous rewards. So you guys have it coming for sure, says the Queen of Pentacles here in the beginning of your reading. Look at another queen. Okay. So you've got concentrated feminine energy here, which is all about creativity. So what all of this is saying here is that you've got the creative juices flowing, um, along with it being fueled by optimism, but you know, you've got your work cut out for you type thing, and you know it. But I don't think this is like in the negative sense. You're just kind of like, well, this is going to be a lot of work, but yay, let's get to work. Yeah. The Seven of Wands is feeling a little overwhelmed. Both of these energies. All right, but Taurus, here's the thing. You have to remember that there's nothing wrong with delegating. You don't have to do everything by yourself. So, I'm not going to preach at you. Just remember that. Page of Pentacles. I don't know if that's reversed. We'll find out in a moment. Justice. And let's just get the last card here. Okay. Straighten out the deck. Okay. We'll get the outcome in a moment. Reverse. No. Okay. Again, right? Remember all of this that I just said about the enthusiasm, the creative juices, the overwhelm, but excuse me, here's confirmation of what I said. Like, you see the value in your efforts here. You know that it's going to pay off. Justice here is everything working out in your favor. All of these, like the speed bumps, the little glitches in the logistics and that kind of thing that you come across, you'll be able to it it'll all work out in the end, right? So this week you have to keep calm. Take things as they come and just take a deep breath and know that it's going to be for the greater good in the end, is what the Justice card is saying. The Five of Swords here is working efficiently, or more like working smart and smarter than your competition. Right? So, those of you who have your own businesses, um, and it doesn't even have to be your own business, it can be 9 to 5 too, where you are just working smarter and making better decisions for yourself than your competition, right? So, in a business, that would be, delegating, hiring talented people to fill in the holes that you have in your business, things that you're not quite as good at. You don't know how to code, so you hire a coder, a very talented one, a marketer, that kind of thing, so that you can get ahead of your competition. But at your 9 to 5 job, it's like, you know, eh, not necessarily trying to get attention all the time from your bosses. You just put your head down and do your best work and wait for someone to notice instead of, you know, trying to be all clever and obnoxious about it. Um, Taking courses is another thing. Just because your job hasn't sent you for a course doesn't mean that you can't, on your own accord, find courses that are applicable to your job and your professional ascension. You know, get that certification that your, coworkers don't have so that you can present it to your boss. Like, here, I did this, you know, I just got this certification. And, that could put you above the others. The Empress. Reversed? No, above the others. The Empress. This is my card of exaltation, right? She is fruitful and has very, very high value and is seen as such. This is going to be a good week for you, Taurus. You just have to remember to, not to like throw yourself on the floor if something goes wrong. You just have to take them in stride because there are going to be some things this week that could like slow you down if you let it. But if you just take a deep breath and deal with them, you'll be able to get through them. And by the way, that's another thing that your co-workers for the people in the 9 to 5 jobs, they could every time something goes wrong complain about it, especially to the bosses. Why do I have to do that? You know? And something comes along with you, you're like, okay, let's see, I'll have a look, you know? And then you deal with it quietly and you present it back to your boss, like, here, I finished this, as opposed to your coworker that's always complaining. That kind of thing. That's what this is here. This is this is difficult and overwhelming, but that's okay. I'll deal with it. Queen of Swords. I'm going to take my metaphorical machete and cut through all the mess, and carve a path for us to move forward. Magician. We'll see if that's really reversed. I don't think so. Let's see. Ten of Swords. Okay. Well, we're going to stop for a moment and see if these are reversed. This is reversed. Reversed? No. Okay. Magician is saying reversed that things are not going to be, this is the early stages of something, and that you are going to feel like you're not getting anywhere. This is when you're really in the early stages of things and you're really wondering if it's gonna, if you're gonna be able to pull it off and you don't see how you can do it. It's very much like Seven of Pentacles vibe where, he's resting on his wands looking at the pentacles that he's growing. It's like, oh, is this worth it? The magician is going to reverse is going to make you feel like that. It's like everything is not going to be together for you to move forward in this week. But don't let that discourage you because you're in the early stages. I know I've said that like 3 times already, but just remember that this week and you'll be fine. And also know that everyone is going to be feeling like that. You're not going to be the only one, but it's going to be your approach to this that's going to make you shine and stand out in the crowd. So the Ten of Swords here is saying it's a promise that the worst is over. That, and I've been telling a lot of signs this lately, that we're coming out of a difficult astrological atmosphere where things did not go well for us for a long time, for 20 years. And it's very hard for us. It's very hard for you to have optimism after you've been through a difficult time for so long, right? So you're going to continue to see these messages, Ten of Swords from Spirit, where Spirit's telling you, I know this is difficult, but this is not like before. The worst is over. Don't look at it like it was, you know, even a year or two ago, because that's not what this is. What else we got? Okay. The Six of Pentacles is saying be careful not to blame yourself for things that are not going well. Number one. When things don't go well, especially when things are going not going well repeatedly, you start to question, what's wrong with me? Which there's nothing wrong with having that quick assessment, like, is there something that I'm doing wrong? Which is a perfectly healthy thought, but you can't, if you're learning from it and it's that mentality is helping you move forward, that's fine. But if it's making you feel like you want to give up, then you want to get away from that thought because you should not be giving up here. And now I'm especially talking to the entrepreneurs. We are not going to give up, Taurus, because you're on the right path. Knight of Wands, we're on the right path. What do we have for our middle card here, Spirit? What's our second focus card? Yeah, right. Reverse. I didn't think so. Knight of Wands, on the right path. Pretty much what this is saying. This is fire, effort, move to that propels you forward. This is effort. Two of Wands is about choosing to move forward in a direction that you know benefits you. So this is the entire reading is keep going, keep going. You can be looking at a difficulty and see it as a mountain when it's just a molehill, when it's just a speed bump. Spirit's like, wait, have another look. And you're like, oh, it's just a speed bump. It's fine. Not a mountain. We could deal with this. It's not easy, but we'll be okay. Page of Swords. Reversed. Page of Swords is talking about your intellect and your competence and your ability to solve problems here. So this is saying that, if you just calm down in situations and use your noodle, then it'll be fine. You're okay, Taurus. Advice cards? Let's see which deck we're gonna use. It's funny. It's almost always Sacred Destiny or um, Higher Self deck. Eh, okay. Healing Chaos. You see, look, hold on, let me put these cards back. There is a tornado here, and it's got butterflies flying around it, right? Sorry, everything's backwards. It's hard to. Okay. See them? So, this is about, this is like a different way of expressing tower energy, like, but tower energy is more like something suddenly happens and wrecks everything. That's not, this is like, there are lots of things happening that are helping you transform and working in your favor, even though when you're in the messes, you're like, how is this going to help me? This is not helping me. But depending on what the situation is, it could be helping you in experience, you know, strengthening your troubleshooting skills. You know, you, th- okay. So Spirit just brought to mind the fact that I had COVID recently for the first time. I survived the pandemic, never got it until now in 2025. I caught it. But it was okay, it was fine. It was like a really weird flu that I had for like 2 days, and then I had a lingering cough for a while. Anyway, there are a bunch of antimicrobials that I took that helped me through it. Um, and I noticed that my blood pressure was normal. Like I didn't have to take my blood pressure medications. And I took a whole 14-day course of these antimicrobials. And I'm telling you, like perfect blood pressure almost the entire 2 weeks. Um, I only had to take my blood pressure medication like 2 or 3 times the whole 2 weeks, which is rare. So it taught me some things about the some of the antimicrobials that I took. Like I knew about their antimicrobial properties, but I had no idea that they affect blood pressure. And I researched the the herbs one by one because there's a number of them. There are a whole bunch of them, and I found that there's a group of them, a small group out of the number that I was taking that do affect blood pressure in a positive way. And then Now I look back at last month when I had, no, 2 months ago when I had COVID, like fondly, like I'm glad I got COVID because I wouldn't have discovered those herbs otherwise because I had been researching um, high blood pressure remedies and those antimicrobials did not come up in my research. So you understand? So COVID sucked. It was not fun. And when I had it, I was like, this sucks. I hate this. But something good came out of it. And by the way, 2 months later, I take very little of my medications now. And I've been taking some of those antimicrobials like 2, 3 times a week now. And it seems to really keep my blood pressure down. Um, so I know that's kooky, but it applies to this. Whatever that's happening in your life that is getting on your nerves or getting in the way of things, look at it as a stepping stone. Okay? Because don't forget who you are. You are the fruitful empress and you are going places. Okay, Taurus? So I am looking forward to hearing from you guys in the comment section. I answer every single one and I love to hear from you guys. So tell me how this resonates. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and every single subscriber means the world to me. Even though it's just a quick, free gesture to you, it means the world to me. So thank you in advance. Um, don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss future videos. Okay, guys? I will speak to you soon. Love, light, and many blessings.